Hello, I'm Jean-Paul Binot, Head of Business Process Outsourcing for Thornton in Thailand. 2021 was a very unpredictable year, and it seems that 2022 is shaping up to be just as uncertain. But one thing is certain, the world of work has changed forever. And there are trends that began in the last 18 months that will most likely continue well into the decade. So with this context in mind, here are my top 5 predictions for the world of work in 2022. Of course, keep in mind that these are my predictions and my rankings. They come from the point of view of someone who works in outsourcing. Someone else may have entirely different predictions. Nevertheless, I'm very confident that my forecasts will be accurate. So let's get started. Number 5. The Great Resignation will continue in the West, but is unlikely to hit Thailand. The Great Resignation has mostly been a Western phenomenon so far. A record high 4.5 million American workers quit their jobs just in the month of November 2021. Europe has not been immune to the trend either. Countries all over Western Europe are reporting high levels of job vacancies and skilled worker shortages. A recent study even revealed that 46% of European workers are planning to quit their jobs in the next 6 to 12 months. For the most part, Asia appears to be bucking the trend, but not entirely. According to a survey by the jobs portal Indeed, 1 in 4 Singaporean workers plan to leave their current jobs in the first half of 2022. But the Great Resignation has not affected Thailand and is unlikely to do so. People here tend to be much more risk-averse, and salaries are much lower, relatively speaking, so most workers are very hesitant to jeopardize their livelihoods. Add Thailand's strong labor laws to the mix, and you can see why the Great Resignation isn't happening here. But this may be something of a mixed blessing. The fact that Thai companies do not have to face the consequences of employees leaving will likely reinforce stagnation and the status quo. They will not be incentivized to implement changes that would make them more attractive to skilled workers, and therefore more competitive on the global stage. And as the saying goes, people do not leave bad companies, they leave bad bosses. Employees leaving a given department in droves let the C-suite know when they have a problem with a certain manager. As Thai companies are less likely to see as many resignations as their Western counterparts, their underperforming managers are also more likely to remain undetected. Number 4. Businesses will increasingly hire remote workers from around the world. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it is that a great number of workers can be just as productive, if not more productive, when working remotely. Moreover, skilled workers from around the world are no longer tied to jobs in their home countries, as we can see in the context of the Great Resignation. This presents an excellent opportunity for businesses to fill important gaps with talented remote workers. Thailand could be in an excellent position to benefit from this trend. The country is facing an ongoing skilled labor shortage. Companies can now address this problem by hiring more remote workers. Thailand could also capitalize on the remote trend by making itself an attractive destination for digital nomads who could provide a substantial boost to the struggling tourism and hospitality sector. However, onerous immigration requirements and COVID-19 restrictions are major obstacles. The government will need to make some proactive and practical changes in order for Thailand to take advantage of the situation. Number 3. Businesses will invest more in employee engagement. Employee engagement has always been important, but is absolutely crucial in the current environment where large portions of the workforce are remote. Working from home, or more accurately working from anywhere, is very attractive to many people, but it poses a major challenge for managers. Many team leaders face something of a culture shock over the last 18 months. They found that it is much more challenging to supervise a team without the reassuring policing toolset usually available in a corporate office environment. Of course, managers need to find ways to adapt and keep their staff engaged by having daily face-to-face calls with employees, running online team building activities, and the like. But business leaders must also support their managers and regular staff members alike by implementing machine learning for employee training, holding culture calibration sessions, offering mental health and well-being benefits, and providing open communication channels where employees are empowered to give feedback. Companies must also provide basic workstation support for remote work. Senior managers may have the luxury of converting a spare bedroom into a home office, but regular employees might struggle having to use the kitchen table. In 2022, we will see more and more organizations making major investment in these areas. And those that do will be in a much better position to thrive in the era of remote work and the Great Resignation. Number 2, companies will increasingly entrust non-core tasks to business process outsourcing firms. One of the key lessons of the pandemic is the importance of focusing on core functions. Any task that is not core to the business, from finance and accounting to payroll to HR to facility management to IT to marketing, can usually be better performed by a third party and often at a lower cost. Another major advantage of partnering with a reputable business process outsourcing firm is that it enables the business to benefit from the latest cutting-edge technology, machine learning, AI, robotic process automation, and more, without having to incur any of the risk associated with its implementation and during a long adaptation process or having to fund investment upfront. This is true everywhere in the world, and Thailand is no exception. Organizations here are increasingly realizing this fact. According to our recent international business report, as of the second half of 2021, 46% of companies in Thailand outsource some of their business lines, with 16% outsourcing more than 3 business lines. In 2022, we can expect these numbers to rise significantly. Number 1, CFOs will focus more on the strategist and change agent part of their role and outsource the guardian and producer part to trusted third-party specialists. We first picked up on this trend while working on our 2020 CFO survey report, and it has been accelerating ever since. CFOs are increasingly interested in crafting and driving corporate strategy, as well as moving the business forward by adjusting behaviors and driving new outcomes. Outsourcing compliance, reporting, accounting, and bookkeeping to more capable hands will lead to better conversations at a higher level. This will be particularly true for SMEs, specifically the larger quartile, in which companies are facing the same issues and complexity as large companies, but whose CFOs only have a fraction of the resources available to help them cope with the challenges. Again, outsourcing non-core tasks enables CFOs to focus their full attention on driving genuine business outcomes. And we will be seeing a lot more of this in 2022. There you have it, my 5 predictions for the world of work in 2022. As I said in the beginning, these are very difficult times to make accurate forecasts. The situation here in Thailand and around the world remains highly fluid and will likely continue to be for the foreseeable future. However, I'm quite confident that all my predictions will indeed come true. Thanks for watching, and remember, if your business needs guidance finding its way in this new and challenging landscape, the experts at Thornton are here to help.